Hi, my name's Sasha Taylor and I'm a lead midwife on the midwifery-led birthing unit. Most babies are born after 37 weeks, but if your baby does decide to come before that time, this is called a preterm or a premature birth. Some people do know that they're going to have a preterm birth, but sometimes it's completely unexpected and we don't really know why that happens.
Hi, I'm Sophie Partlow. I am the mother of Magnolia Day Partlow, who was born at 23 weeks and 5 days. So I was actually more focused on not being induced early and what would I do if my pregnancy went over 40 weeks, as opposed to what could happen if she was actually born early. So it was a huge surprise that she came as early as she did.
You probably won't be expecting to go into early labour, so you might just miss the signs. Some of the things to look out for are tummy pains, back pains, or cramps that come and go. Other symptoms to look out for are vaginal bleeding, leaking fluid, or perhaps even unusual discharge. Don't ignore those signs. If you are worried, then please do call us and not your GP.
I did not recognize the signs of preterm labor. I had no idea. I genuinely was cooking dinner and thought, oh, wow, this must be some round ligament pain, or maybe this is the Braxton Hicks everyone talks about. But it was just so painful. I was like, this isn't good. This isn't really normal. So I talked to my husband and he was like, you should just call and see what's going on. And I told them what was happening. And they were like, yeah, just come on in to get checked out. It's probably nothing. And so when you hear contraction and when you read up on, what a contraction is, you imagine it being this sort of contracting, this feeling of pressure, but that is not at all what I experienced. It was just pain. Every minute or two bursts and lasts for about 20 to 30 seconds. The intervals became less and the pain became even more. And it was only at the point that they actually did a cervical check and saw that I was almost fully dilated, that her membranes were showing, that they were like, okay, this is this is serious. You're staying here.
If you do think you're in early labour, we will invite you in. This is to offer you a full checkup. This will include a vaginal examination, which will be looking at the neck of your womb, the cervix. We sometimes also offer you a scan, and this can tell us if your cervix is shortening or opening. We may also offer you a swab, which looks at the hormones, which may give an indication if labour is starting.
It's funny because my husband, Chris, was the one who really, I guess, championed me getting some help when I went, and they did determine that, okay, this is really going to go down today. I, of course, called him immediately. He dropped everything, took our 4-year-old to his brother's house and came to the hospital. After a while, they're like, okay, you're having these contractions, but we're giving you medication to slow them down. The ideal situation is that you'll calm down the laboring now and we'll be able to transfer you to a higher level hospital. So in his mind, he's like, oh, okay, we're going to be here for a while. So I'm going to go home and get some clothes and make sure we kind of get the bag ready that we did not get ready at all because it was so early. We didn't have the grab bag on hand. So he left and went home to pack things up and my contractions just kept coming. And so I was like, you have to get back here right now. So he got a cab, got back as soon as he could. And luckily he made it in time to watch her be born.
Premature birth can sometimes be very quick, and there may be lots of people in the room with you, which is very overwhelming. Just remember they're all doctors, midwives, and neonatologists, and they're just there to help you and your baby.
So there's 2 separate teams in the room, and each team consists of quite a lot of people. It's something that I wasn't really prepared for, but was very happy for once the ball kind of got rolling.
If your baby is born very prematurely, so before 27 weeks, they will definitely need extra care. These babies are admitted to a neonatal intensive care unit. We call them a NICU. Sometimes you give birth in a hospital that doesn't have a NICU. We will transfer you and your baby to a specialist unit.
So I had to go into theater for some additional surgery to have my extra placenta removed. And in doing so, that made it where I could not travel with my daughter once she needed to be transferred for a higher level of care. They whisked her away in the ambulance, and I had to wait a few hours. And then I was very, very grateful for the hospital. They actually helped us to get a taxi down. So it was a 4-hour drive to get to her, but I was able to get there that night. So that was a bit stressful, just having to be apart from her, to not be able to ride with her. So I imagine if you have a C-section, or if you've had general anesthesia, or are for whatever reason unable to travel with your baby, that can be really scary. But the teams that take these kids are amazing. It wasn't just the medical side of things. The absolute care that each and every person shows for not only your baby, but for you. It's amazing. I felt very supported at every turn. I felt so educated. I felt like the fact that they usher you into an understanding of what's happening with her medically, while maintaining such care for you as a person and as a mother, or a birthing person. It's absolutely amazing.
In some cases, preterm birth is planned because it's safer for your baby to be born sooner rather than later. If there are complications with your pregnancy or with your baby, we may offer you an induction of labour or a caesarean birth. If you've had a previous preterm birth, you can be at a greater risk of this happening again. Other risk factors may include if you're a smoker, if you have an infection, or perhaps you're having more than one baby. Because risks are different for everyone, we recommend that you have a conversation with your midwife or your doctor about your own individual circumstances.
It can be kind of daunting to know that, okay, at some point, I will have to be her primary carer for 24 hours a day. She came home on oxygen. She came home with an apnea monitor. She came home with an outreach team still coming in twice a week to make sure she was all right. There was still a plan in place to have ongoing supports once we left the actual facility. So we were never alone. We're still not alone. She's 6 months old and we still have a health visitor that comes in, an occupational therapist that comes in. I still have those moments where I just look at her for a while and, okay, she's breathing. I'd say that's more the normalcy of being a parent. I'd say you get to a point where you're ready to be like, okay, all right, I got this. We can do this. We're very happy that she's here and doing really well.
Pregnancy and birth don't always go to plan. You might have been thinking of a home birth or a very low risk birth, but whatever happens, we are here to help you.